I'm a long time supporter of racial equality and equity. I believe that the root of most crime is caused by poverty. I believe that poverty exists because white people planned it that way. Um, I am, I would say 90% probably on board with the way you ladies think. The whole approach to city council has been, I think, from a strategic standpoint, um, it's not been the right approach. I feel like before I even joined the council that we were being just beat up on, and like there was some type of personal gain for us to fund the police. So I just think the way that the respective groups have approached us has been so um, mean spirited. I mean, not the three of you on this call, but if you go back and listen to the callers in and the tones of voices, and when Jeff McIntosh said that he was being yelled at, maybe not literally yelled at, but you know, it's the approach has been very heavy-handed. And to use words like demand leads me to say things like, well, the US government doesn't negotiate with terrorists. When we're not a hostile group and you've got 7 out of 8 on the board who are Democrats and you've got 4 out of 8 who are African American, you're not approaching a hostile group to begin with.
I kind of urge you and city council to hear these demands, because that's really what they are. They're people insisting that their needs get met, and hear them more in the spirit of people who are frustrated, people who are tired of not having, people who feel like who have been ignored, whose needs are being overlooked.
And I get that. As a gay man, I've been in that position. It's like, I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of being the one who had to keep my mouth shut. I've been there, but I also know from real life history that when I reach that point is when I am the least effective. Now, I will tell you what you've got a lot of support on is the whole mental health issue, and I am 100% behind that. The problem is we don't have a mechanism yet. I know that city council or city staff is much further down the road, and it's not my responsibility as a city councilman to come up with a solution. Have you guys actually met with our police department to find out how they spend their money, to find out how they're structured? Some of the things, like when you look at the number of police officers, that doesn't mean the number of people driving around in a police car. But not everybody who works for the police department who is in that budget as a paid police officer is out there making calls and potentially shooting somebody, because that does happen. As you guys continue your fight, and I want you to continue your fight, and at some point, I want to support you. What I hear, not from the three of you necessarily, but what I hear corporately, it makes it sound like our police are bad guys. That was one of the things that I wanted to make sure our police, people that I know personally, people that I've done ride-alongs with, are just beat down to nothing because they're suffering the consequences of really shitty police officers across this country.
Hold on. I'm sorry, Mr. Mundy, but a police officer from WSPD did slam a juvenile Black girl to the ground in November of last year.
I know. A friend of mine actually recorded it, Peggy Joins.
Yes.
Not Peggy Joins, Peggy.
But I'm not. Hold on. Please let me speak. I'm not saying that every individual police officer is a bad person. It's the system as a whole. we can't prevent these issues from happening unless we do reduce the size of police and put efforts into addressing communities so that we can all have a stable, safe, and healthy community. And no one has ever spoken out to an individual police member or said that they are bad.
You don't have to. Nobody, you know, I can read I can read a report from what's his name, Franklin Graham. He never calls me out, but what he says about gay people reflects on me. So all of the police bashing that has gone on across this country has had an impact on every police officer in our community. Just like when people get gay bashed in another city, it has an impact on me.
Respectfully, you don't choose to be gay. People choose to be police officers. And
sorry, I would just encourage you to go back, and I know you said some things about the tone, but if you go back and listen to the requests that we've made and listen to the things that people are saying, no one's bashing our police department. We're simply saying that we need different programs in place and not to just keep increasing policing.
You might not be saying that, but that's what they're hearing. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you want to be right? Or do you want to be effective?
I mean, I don't
think they're
because I will tell you, if you want to be right,
I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
They are. They most certainly are. Because the louder you yell, the more right you are, and the further you push yourself away from the goal. And I learned a long time ago, if I wanted to be effective, I had to select the strategy that worked. If the perception from the general public is that you're trashing our police department, you need to change your strategy if that's not the message that you're sending, because the message that you're sending is you're trashing the Winston-Salem Police Department.
The request to reallocate
that's not your intent.
Are you saying though that the message of reallocation in and of itself is trashing the police department? Because that's the message.
The way it's been presented, yes. Why have you not called the police department and had a meeting with them and have a ride along? That tells me that you really don't want to hear all of the story. You guys, and I'm supporting you. Almost everything that you're presenting is where I want us as a city to be. But you're suffering from confirmation bias, and you don't have the full picture. I want all three of you to call and schedule, see if you can schedule a ride along with the police, or at least tour Station 3, which is down here on Somerset and Stratford Road. Find out how the department is structured.
I mean, sir, you know, I've been on ride along. I went to the public safety.
You did it with
yes. I've done all of that.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't change systemic issues, and it doesn't change. And
you're not going to change systemic issues by taking $10 million away from the police department. That is a long, slow, ongoing thing. It is a step in the right direction.
That's right, and we're just asking for support in doing it. Like
and you guys are still missing the big picture. If I'm the one out there saying we need to do this, but you've alienated everyone else, nobody's going to work along with me.
I mean, how many people hated Martin Luther King? How many people felt alienated by his message? And he was peaceful as all get out. He was murdered by white supremacy. I was protested while you were in diapers, so you don't need to go there with me. I mean, I know Martin Luther King, but what you're not willing to do is learn what some of the things that they're already doing. So what you're saying is, we don't like the police. We want them to change. Throw all of them out. No.
That is what people are hearing. I can tell you that is what people are hearing. And I can tell you further, remember, I'm your ally. And the entire defund the police, that term, defund the police, lost us the House and Senate in Raleigh.
No.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Let's
Oh,
come back to,
absolutely.
but let's also
Absolutely. The terms
also
defund the police.
misinformation,
You want to be
Mr.
right, but you can't be right and effective. You have a lot of righteous indignation.
Mm.
And I know that because I have been in your seat. I've been the one with the righteous indignation.
I don't believe that's true at this point. I'm sorry.
No, you wouldn't at your age.
Listen. Oh, okay. I'll hold on to that one.
You need to understand why you're facing so much opposition.
We understand why we are facing so much opposition, and that's why we are growing our community support, and people are very much behind us on what we're asking for. I'm not making these connections myself because they are so far apart of what's actually true at this moment.
Yeah, and I was out there campaigning, so I did see it and I heard it. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I see the connection because I was there. I was there every day and hearing. When I look at things like if we had had Trump-related violence in our city, our police department has to protect us against those angry white men. And granted, I'd love to see those angry white men get treated the same way a teenage black girl got treated. Philosophically, I'm with you, but in practice, I'm not on the same page. So that makes for a difficult conversation. I think a lot of the standard ways of policing are harmful. You guys, and I hope it was helpful. I hope it didn't come across as an asshole. So.